Perek Gimel Mishnah Yud Aleph. Ve'elu lignai. And the following people were mentioned in a critical way. In other words, the previous Mishnah and the Mishnah Yud and the end of Mishnah Tes discusses people who were mentioned lishvach for praiseworthy things. But now we're mentioning people in a critical way. Ve'elu lignai. Shall base Garmu. First of all, the family, the Garmu family. Lo rotzu lelamed al ma'aseh lechem haponim. They refused to teach, to share their secret of the lechem haponim. The lechem haponim is a very difficult bread to bake because this showbread had to be baked in a special shape. It had a flat underside, it came up, and then it went across a little bit. And it was very hard to bake, particularly because it was hard, once they baked it, to pull it off the oven. In those days, there would be an oven where the fire was inside, and they would actually take the dough and sort of place it against the inside wall of the oven. And that's how it would bake. And other bakers tried to copy this act. But what was hard is the redia sapas, of sort of pulling this, the bread away from the inside wall. And others tried, when they went on strike, they tried to get some very good bakers, but it didn't work. And either they couldn't do the redia sapas, they couldn't pull it off, or the bread sort of crumbled and went moldy. So Beis Garmu criticized because they didn't share the secret of how to bake the lechem haponim. Shall Beis Avtinas, the Avtinas family, lo rotzu lelamed al ma'aseh haktoros. They refused to teach about their secret of the ketores, of the incense. What was the secret? Well, according to one pshat, they knew which herb it was called. The herb was called the male oshon, where if you would add that to the ketores, that caused the ketores to rise in a straight line, and not for the incense to be sort of spread, not for the smoke to be scattered wide. Either that was their secret, what the actual Esav was. According to the Tosfos Rishonim, the Art Scroll brings that the Tosfos Rishonim says that everyone knew what ingredients, what spice to put in the ketores to make the smoke go up. But the secret of the Avtinas family was they knew how to pick a superior strain of this ingredient, of this spice, because that superior strain really helped the smoke go straight up. And they refused to disclose how to choose this superior strain. Okay, continues the Mishnah. Hugreis ben Levi hayodea perek bashir v'lo rotz lelamed. He had a special method. Ben Hugreis halevi ben Levi. He knew a special method how to sing. So machlok is exactly what it means. The Gemara says that he would put his thumb under his tongue, and somehow that produced an exquisite way of singing. But he refused to sing, despite being in charge, the Levi in charge of the singing. He didn't disclose this method of singing. Ben Kamtzo lerotz lelamid al ma'aseh haktav. Ben Kamtzo had a unique way of writing. He would be able to write with 4 pens, 4 different letters at one time. He would take 4 pens and slip them between his 5 fingers, and he could write simultaneously 4 different things at one go. And he would write the Shem Hashem, which of course is made up of 4 letters, and he would be able to write the Shem Hashem in one go. What was the maila, what was the advantage of doing that? Well, 2 advantages. Number 1, one should not speak when you're writing the Shem Hashem. And therefore, by doing it in one go, it minimizes the time it takes to write, and therefore the possibility of speaking when writing the Shem Hashem. Alternatively, the Art Scroll brings the Pirush of it's the Tosfos Yontif quoting the Yefei Mareh, that it's considered the lack of kavod for the Shem Hashem to be incomplete for any moment in time. And therefore, if you're writing it in one go, the Shem Hashem is never really going to be incomplete. You're just writing it in one shot. You're not writing one letter, then another letter. And therefore, that's considered the maila, the advantage of what he was doing. So 4 things mentioned. Says the Mishnah, about the earlier Mishnahs, the Mishnah Tes at the end and Mishnah Yud, those people who contributed generously to the Beis Hamikdash, about them we say Zeichet Tzadik Livracha, the mention of a tzaddik, of a righteous man, should be for a blessing. V'al elu ne'amar, but about these in our Mishnah it is said V'shem Risha'im Yirkov, the name of the wicked will rot. Now, the question is, why didn't they disclose? So the Gemara says that the first 2, Beis Garmu with the Lechem Haponim and Beis Avtinas with the Ma'aseh Ketores, they said that they didn't want to share their secrets with others because they were worried that it might fall into the public hands and people may use these practices for avodah zarah, for idolatrous purposes. However, the Chachomim did not accept their excuse, and the proof for that is the article brings the Yesh Seder Mishnah that the Gemara itself says that when Beis Garmu went on strike and didn't want to bake the Lechem Haponim, they tried to hire other bakers, it didn't work. They then offered to double the pay of the Beis Garmu family, and all of a sudden they came back, which suggests that it wasn't really L'Shem Shamayim. And therefore Chazal didn't accept their excuse, and about them and all four of the characters in this Mishnah, we say Shem Rishoim Yirkov. The Yerushalmi, however, says that the Chachomim did accept their excuse. And they said, you're quite right. And therefore, the Shem Rishoim Yirkov, the people mentioned in the Gnai, are only the last two. Hugras ben Levi, who knew how to sing and didn't want to share his secrets, and Ben Kamtzah, who knew how this special method of writing and didn't want to share that. But not about the first two. The Meiri goes even further and says that the Zeichet Tzadik Livrocha that we say about the previous Mishnah also extends to Beis Garmu and to Beis Avtinas because they had commendable reasons for not sharing their secrets, and according to the approach of the Yerushalmi, that they Chachomim accepted their excuses that they shouldn't fall into idolatrous hands and be used for idolatrous purposes. Therefore, it was considered a shvach for them as well. So therefore, two approaches whether or not the Chachomim accepted the excuses of the Beis Garmu and the Beis Avtinas family. That is the end of Mishnah Yud Aleph and Perek Gimel.